Hey there and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about something absolutely wild, the plumbing system of your own eye. I'm telling you, it's a masterpiece of biological engineering, and we're about to see just how incredible it really is.
All right, so let's start with a big question, the central puzzle. Your eye is basically a super high-tech biological camera, right? It's designed to capture a perfectly crisp, clear picture of the world. But any camera needs power, and in the body, power means blood, which means blood vessels. So how do you run all of that plumbing to an organ that absolutely has to be perfectly crystal clear?
And that right there leads us to the eye's huge energy problem. You might not really think about it this way, but your eye is one of the most power-hungry organs in your entire body. I mean, it's right up there with the brain. And look, the scale of this demand is just mind-boggling. When you look at it gram for gram, no other part of your body gets more blood flow. The cells that are letting you see this right now are just torching through oxygen and nutrients at this incredible rate, and that supply line can't be cut off, not even for a second. So how on earth does the body solve this seemingly impossible problem of delivering massive amounts of power without getting in the way of the picture? Well, the solution is just genius. It doesn't rely on just one system. It uses two completely separate ones running side by side. Let's pull up the map and see how this is all laid out.
Okay, so this is our master map. Every single drop of blood that's heading to your eye starts its trip right here, in the ophthalmic artery. You can think of this as the main superhighway that branches off the internal carotid artery, which is, the major road heading up to the brain. This is our starting point for this whole journey.
And right away, almost as soon as it starts, that superhighway hits this crucial fork in the road. The blood flow literally splits into two totally separate routes. One is the central retinal artery, and the other is the posterior ciliary arteries. And these two routes, they create two totally different worlds inside the eye, each with its own special job.
All right, let's dive into world number one first, the retina's own private, exclusive network. Think of this system as being all about precision, about getting a direct, clean feed to the neurons that are doing all the processing work.
And this image, wow, it shows you exactly where that blood is going. That central retinal artery, or CRA, fans out across the inner surface of the retina. Its job is to feed the nerve fibers and the ganglion cells. Those are the actual neurons that are processing all the raw data coming in from your photoreceptors.
But, and this is a really big but, here's the most important thing you need to know about this system. It's what scientists call an anatomic end artery. What does that mean? It means there are no detours, no side roads, no backups. If one of these little branches gets blocked, the tissue that it was feeding, it just dies. It's super efficient, yeah, but it's also incredibly high risk. And to push that goal of perfect, clear vision to its absolute limit, the body does something that is just wild. Right in the fovea, the dead center of your vision where you need everything to be as sharp as possible, there are no blood vessels at all. This foveal avascular zone is like a biological no-fly zone, making absolutely sure nothing gets in the way of the light. Okay, so wait a minute. If the fovea, the most important part, has zero blood vessels, how does it not just die? Well, that's where world number two comes in, the choroid. And this system is totally different. It's not the precise little network we just saw. This is the heavy-lifting, high-volume support system that's working behind the scenes. I mean, just look at this image. Unlike those clean, sparse retinal vessels, the choroid is this dense, spongy, almost chaotic-looking web of blood vessels. This layer, the choriocapillaris, has one big job, to be a massive radiator of oxygen and nutrients, pouring them out to feed the most energy-hungry cells in the whole eye, your photoreceptors, the rods and cones. All right, this slide right here, this is the big aha moment. This is where it all clicks. You can see the two worlds side by side. The retinal system on the left, it's low flow, high risk. It has no backups, and its vessels are built like a fortress. Nothing leaks. The choroidal system is the complete opposite. It's extremely high flow, it's got tons of connections and built-in backups, and its vessels are intentionally leaky to get as many nutrients out as fast as possible. Two systems, two totally opposite designs, for two totally different jobs. Okay, so you might be thinking, a super leaky, high-pressure hose right next to the most delicate computer chip in the body? That sounds like a terrible idea, a recipe for disaster. So how does the body keep these two very different worlds from making a mess? Well, the body has a solution for that, of course, a really sophisticated set of barriers. And this analogy is just perfect for understanding it. The retinal vessels on the left are called continuous. Their cells are locked together super tight. Think of it like a solid fortress wall. But the choroidal vessels on the right are fenestrated. They're full of little pores, little windows. They're basically a screen door designed to let a whole bunch of stuff flow right through.
So, let's talk about that fortress wall. That's the inner blood-retinal barrier. It's made from those tightly sealed capillaries inside the retina itself, and they're even reinforced by other cells, creating this incredibly selective border that makes sure pretty much nothing can leak out into that sensitive neural tissue. So, what about that leaky screen door? What's stopping it from flooding everything? Well, the outer blood retinal barrier isn't actually the leaky choroid. It's this one, incredibly important layer of cells called the retinal pigment epithelium, or RPE. The RPE sits right between the choroid and the photoreceptors, and it acts like the ultimate bouncer, the gatekeeper, carefully choosing and transporting only the nutrients that the photoreceptors are allowed to have.
So, when you step back and look at the whole thing, it's just this incredibly elegant, brilliant design. But like any system that's so finely tuned, that brilliance also comes with a big vulnerability.
And this quote just nails it. The eye's dual circulation system is a brilliant solution to what seems like an impossible problem. How do you feed every single one of these hardworking cells while keeping the path for light perfectly, absolutely clear?
And this last comparison really drives home that trade-off we were just talking about. On the left, you've got that retinal end artery. If you get a blockage there, what doctors call an ocular stroke, it is catastrophic. There's just no backup supply. But on the right, you have the choroid's design, with all its built-in shunts and backups. A small blockage there, often it causes much less damage. So the very design that gives us our crystal clear vision is also what makes part of the eye so fragile.
So the takeaway here is that this whole beautiful, complicated system, the high-risk arteries, the high-flow support network, the super tight barriers, it all has to work in perfect sync to give us the amazing gift of sight. But it really makes you wonder, right? What happens to our vision when this incredibly delicate balance gets disturbed?